Design of System Software. Hello sir, I am Prachi Modi, student of MSc IT, DSS. This is our presentation for Design of Software System course which was conducted by Professor Saurabh Tiwari. Design of software system is a process by which we can design software using a set of primitive components which are subjected to certain constraints. It includes problem study and planning a software solution. It is possible to design a software in process of programs without a plan or requirement analysis, but for more complex projects this would be not feasible. The course acts as a bridge between designers and programmers to create a system that is both useful and technically sound. We personally had a great experience studying under Professor Tiwari as we got to learn many new things. This is a group 2 presentations. Our system is student leave and TA assistantship system. The group members are Priyanka Rawat, roll number 02, Prachi Modi, that is me, roll number 29, Janki Gadvi, roll number 65, and Priyanka Vasandhya, roll number 90. The contents of our presentation are introduction, overall description, use cases, activity diagrams, sequence diagrams, class diagrams, OCL, state diagrams, package diagram, and object design. In the existing paperwork related to leave management, leaves are maintained using the attendance register meant for students. The leave applications are submitted manually. This increases the paperwork and maintaining the records becomes tedious. The main objective of the proposed system is to reduce the paperwork and help in easier record maintenance. It does so by providing a particular centralized database system in which leaves are maintained. Our system will automate the existing system. It reduces the paperwork and makes the record maintenance much more easier. It also reduces chances of data loss. It will be easy to adapt the system according to changes in the attendance policy. It will also facilitate the course coordinator to calculate the stipend of TA according to his work days. Our main objective is to automate the manual system of leave maintenance. It will also decrease the paperwork and manual labor. As with the existing paperwork, the chances of data loss are higher as paper could easily go through wear and tear. Moreover, the preservation of old registers is a very tedious job. Therefore, it reduces data loss. With a centralized database, it will also make the process far more efficient for the course coordinator as well as the students. The main users of our system would be student, teaching assistants, that is a TA, course instructor, and admin. Function requirements. Our function requirements for the administrator are as following. Number 1. Policy for leave approval. Admin would be the one who gets to decide the policy for leave approval for students as well as the TAs. Number 2. To update the leave allotment record of students or teaching assistants. Admin can update their leave records every month. If TA has balanced leaves, then it will be updated for the current month. For the course instructor, the function requirements are number 1. Approval or rejection of leave application. Course instructor can approve TA's leaves according to the policy decided by administrator. Number 2 is approval of payment of TA. Course instructor will approve TA's stipend according to the pre-decided policy. Number 3. View report. Course instructor can view the leave records or history of students as well as TA. For students, the function requirements are number 1. Apply for leave. Whenever students want to apply for leave, they log into the system and they have balanced leave, then a leave application form would be displayed. Number 2. To view the past record history. Students can view their past history. They can view their leave records, which includes their previous leaves and their balance leaves. Number 3. Edit and delete the leave request. Students can edit and delete their request before the course coordinator has responded. For teaching assistant, the function requirements are number 1. To apply for work leave. Whenever TA wants to apply for work leave, he will log in into the system, and if they have balance leave, then the leave application form would be displayed. Number 2. To view student details. A TA can view the details of students who are enrolled under his course. Number 3. Get stipend. TA will receive the stipend which is approved by the course coordinator. Non-functional requirements, standard compliance. For standard compliance, the website should follow the rules of World Wide Web Consortium. It is done to ensure interoperability. A system is designed in compliance with the W3C. Reliability. Reliability emphasizes dependability, that is the ability of the system or component to function under the stated conditions. Maintainability. The system is being developed in Java, and Java is an object-oriented language, so it would be very easy to maintain it. Portability. The system shall run in any Microsoft Windows environment that contains Java runtime and Microsoft Access database. Availability. The system would be easily available 24/7 hours for students and all members of the institute. Anyone with valid credentials can use our system. Constraints and assumptions. Our assumptions are: number 1, the workability of our system depends on the policies decided by the admin. Number 2, all other modules which are not designed by us but incorporated into our system should work as desired. Number 3, when the course instructor approves of the TA stipend, the same data would be carried forward to the financial department so that he or she could be paid accordingly. Number 4, in case of any system failure, admin will handle the remaining leave processes. Number 5, leave has to be applied to the individual course coordinator as per the individual lectures. Number 6, course coordinator would approve the stipend of the TA which are associated with their particular courses. Number 6, the system won't work in case of emergency. In such case scenario, the student has to directly contact the course instructor. If a student wants any leave, it should be submitted before 2 days, or else it won't be granted.
In our system, there are 4 actors. First, college admin, second, course coordinator, third, student, and fourth, teaching assistant, which is the special form of student. There are 5 use cases. First, leave processing. Student or TA will apply for leave, and based on leave reason, course coordinator will approve or reject leave. Second, data management. All the data of the system will managed by admin. Third, login. Any person with valid credential can log in into the system and use the system. Fourth, stipend management. Course coordinator approve the TA stipend, and that stipend will be received by teaching assistant. Fifth, view history or detail. After the login into the system, according to the role of user can view their data. This is use case for login. If student, TA, admin or course coordinator wants to access the system, then they can log in into the system as well as log out from the system. Primary actor for this system is admin, student, TA and course coordinator. There is no secondary actor, no dependency and no generalization. Flow of events are: there will be 2 fields on main window asking for entering correct login ID and password. The alternate flow for this is: if login ID or password is not correct, it will show message displaying enter correct user ID or password instead of displaying main window. After logging in to the system, according to the type of user, new window will be displayed. There is only one precondition, that is each user must have their own login ID and password, and post condition is correct data would be made available to the system. There is no variation and no extension. There is one special requirement of the system is there must be an internet connection on the device of user.
This is the leave processing use case description. The brief description about this use case diagram is: student or TA will enter to the leave application window. To apply for the leave, if the student is eligible for the leave application, then he will get a leave form, or else he will get an alert message regarding his leave balance. If he is eligible, the system would send the form to the course coordinator and to the student or TA, and they will act accordingly. The primary actor of this use case diagram is student, as he would be the one to initiate the leave processing, and the secondary actor is course coordinator, as he would approve or reject the student's application. There are no dependency or generalization in this use case diagram. The basic flow of leave processing is as below. When student will log into the system, leave application window would be visible to him. By clicking on apply leave button, leave application form would be available to the student or TA, and if he got enough balance, then he can apply for the leave, or he can fill up the form. Now, the alternate flow of this is, if the student doesn't have enough balance leave, then instead of the application form, he will get an alert dialog box displaying that will display that he doesn't have enough balance for applying the leave. Now, if he is eligible, then he could make the leave application filled up by inserting data of from date to date and the leave reason, appropriate leave reason. Now, student will submit this form. The alternate flow of this is, if the number of days that he had applied for leave is greater than the balance leave, then the same message will be displayed to him. Now, if he has filled up all the information and submitted to the course coordinator, then the form would be forwarded to the course coordinator within 2 days, and the course coordinator will respond him accordingly according to his leave application, and that response will be displayed on student side. Now, the precondition of this use case diagram is, student must log in into the system, and only ongoing semester student or teaching assistant can apply for this leave application, and student has to submit their application 2 days in advance. The post condition of leave processing use case diagram is, attendance will be updated in the student side and correct data would be made available to the course coordinator. There is no extension and variation in this use case diagram, but it has only one special requirement, and it is, there must be an internet connection on device of user.
This is the use case description for stipend management. At the end of the month, stipend would be given to TA. For that purpose, the window will help the course coordinator to calculate the amount by sending specific leave report of TA. The primary actor is TA, as he would be the one requesting for his stipend. The secondary actor would be course coordinator, as he would approve the TA's stipend. There are no dependency and no generalization in this particular use case description. The flow of events are, number 1, the course coordinator would log into the system and then click on the approve stipend button. Number 2, for a particular TA, he will check the TA's work attendance, and according to that number of days worked, he will forward a receipt to the financial department. The receipt would contain TA's calculated stipend, and according to that, the financial department would pay him. The only alternate flow to this is, if the attendance of TA is 0 or below the decided policy, then course coordinator will not permit the stipend. The post condition over here is that correct data would be made available to the course coordinator. The precondition is that course coordinator must have all the attendance detail of TA. There are no extension and no variations. The special requirement is that internet connection is must on the device of user.
This is use case description for data management. Data management is only performed by administrator. Administrator can modify students' record. There is only one primary actor, is admin. There is no secondary actor, no dependency, and there is no generalization. Flow of events are, admin can log into the system by entering correct ID and password. All the data would be visible to him and he could manipulate them. In case of system failure or student has applied for the same leave twice by mistake or wants to roll back his leave application form, in such scenario, student will consult the admin and admin will modify his records. There is no alternate flow. There is only one precondition for this use case is admin must have correct credentials and he must be logged into the system. Only one post condition is correct data would be made available to system. There is no extension for this use case and there is no variation. There is only one special requirement is there must be an internet connection on device of a user. This is use case description for view details. If students, TA, admin or course coordinator wants to view the leave history of anyone, the new window will be displayed according to the type of user by clicking on the view details. All the actor, admin, student, TA, course coordinator are primary actor. There is no secondary actor, no dependency and there is no generalization. Flow of events is user needs to log into the system. According to the type of user, he can view the leave details. For example, student can view his own information, where course coordinator or admin can view the information of both student as well as teaching assistant. And teaching assistant can view the detail of those students who has undertaken their course. There is no alternate flow. There is only one precondition is user must have correct credentials and user must have to log into the system. There is only one post condition is correct data would be made available to the system. There is no extension for this use case and no variation. There is only one special required is there must be an internet connection on device of a user. This is activity diagram for the login. First of all, system check for the session. If session is already established, then that means user is already logged into the system. If session doesn't exist, then system asks for user ID and password to the user. If user authenticated successfully, then he logged into the system. Otherwise, system show the error message and again ask for the user ID and password to the user.
This is the activity diagram for leave processing. Activities start with the student. Student will first log in into the system, then he can apply for leave. Now the system will check the leave balance of that logged in student. If the balance leave is greater than 0, then the student can send the leave form to the course coordinator. But if student has not enough balance, then he will get an alert message accordingly, the left balance. Now if the sent leave form approved by the course coordinator, and course coordinator will send the response to the student and student can view that response of that leave form.
This is the stipend management activity diagram. It begins with course coordinator logging into the system. The next activity is to get attendance. Based on that, the stipend would be calculated and that would be forwarded to the finance department. The finance department will pay the TA.
This is activity diagram for data management. It begins with the login activity. After successfully completion of that activity, view page would be displayed to him. According to that, admin can update or modify the details of a user on user request. It is the activity diagram for view records. The first activity is login. The next activity would be different for different role of a user. TA can view his own details and all the student details who is undertaken his course. Student can view his own details. Course coordinator and admin can view all the students' details. This is a sequence diagram for the login. User is an entity, login page, successful page and login failure page are boundary. Login controller is controller. If user have no user ID and password, then he can only visit the login page. After user enter the user ID and password into the system, his detail detail is verified by login controller. If user have valid login, then he will be redirected to successful page, otherwise he will be redirected to login failure page.
This is the sequence diagram for leave processing. This sequence diagram will start by the student. Student will apply for the leave by pressing the apply button. Apply button will generate the apply controller, and that controller will check the attendance from the leave database of that student. Database will fetch the record of that student and give the attendance detail to the apply controller. After that, if attendance is not equal to 0, then apply controller will generate a leave form. That form will be filled up by the student and submitted by the student. Now, the apply controller will generate a leave report, and that leave report will be submitted to the course coordinator. Now, the course coordinator will press response button to give his response to that application. Now, response controller will be generated after clicking on the response button. This response controller will generate a response form in which course coordinator will write his response. Now, the response report will be generated, and that report will be submitted to the student. Now, the alternative flow is that if the student is not eligible for applying the leave, in that scenario, the course coordinator will not going to be in picture, and apply controller will throw alert message at that particular moment to the student.
It is a sequence diagram for data management. Admin is actor, modify page is a boundary, modify controller is a controller, and leave DB is a database. Modify page would be made available to admin. Admin will enter student ID and balance leave according to the user request. Update method would be used to send the request to the modify controller via boundary object. Controller will change into the database according to the admin request, and update response would be generated to admin through the controller. It is the sequence diagram for view records. When student or TA wants to view his details, he will send a request to leave DB controller via boundary object. According to the request, all the details would be sent to the student or TA using get detail method. Same process will be applicable for both course coordinator as well as admin.
This is the stipend management sequence diagram. Course coordinator and TA are the actors over here. Approved stipend is a boundary, approved stipend controller is a controller, leave database is database, and finance department is an external entity. It starts with the course coordinator sending a request to the leave database for the balance leave of TA. The leave database will send a response to the stipend controller. The stipend controller will calculate the stipend according to the balance leave and will send the stipend details to the financial department. The finance department will pay the TA.
This is class diagram for login. Here we have 5 classes. First, user, login page, login control, success page, and failure. User is an entity class. Login page, success page, and failure page are boundary, and login control is controller. User have user ID and password. He enter his user ID and password into the system. Login method is invoked by the system. Then his detail verified by the login controller by calling verify method. If result as per result user verified successfully, then he will be redirected to the successful page where he can see his data according to his role. If he is not verified, then he will be redirected on failure page, and one message displayed by the system that login ID or password incorrect. It is view record class diagram. Here we have 6 classes: student, teaching assistant, course coordinator, admin, view report, view controller. Student, teaching assistant, course coordinator and admin are an entity classes. View report is a boundary class. View controller is a controller class. Student can only view his own detail by entering student ID and invoking student view detail method. Teaching assistant can view his own detail. Student those came under him. TA can also see their detail by entering student ID. Course coordinator can view TA's detail by entering TA ID and also see the student detail by entering student ID. Course coordinator also can see the request of the TA and student. Admin can view all detail of all users. All methods are invoked by the view controller.
This is the class diagram for leave process. In this class diagram, we have 5 classes: student, teaching assistant, course coordinator, leave application and leave controller, in which student, teaching assistant and course coordinator are the entity classes. Leave application is the boundary class and leave controller is the controller class. Now the flow starts with this. Student or teaching assistant will send request of leave via leave application, and as we discussed earlier, the leave application would display to only those student or teaching assistant who has sufficient leave. Now this request of leave will be sent through leave application to the course coordinator. Before that, leave application will call leave controller, which can communicate to the database. From that, the process flow will go to the course coordinator side. The course coordinator can view the request of student or teaching assistant's leave application, and according to their leave application, he will send his reply, and if the leave is approved, then updation in the database will be done successfully, and the same response will be sent to the student or teaching assistant accordingly. This is the class diagram for data management, in which we have 3 classes: admin, update form and update controller, in which admin is the entity object, update form is the boundary object and update controller is the controller object. Now admin will update the record of student and teaching assistant according to their leave balances. This will be updated by the update form. The update form will call update controller, in which the leave balance of student and teaching assistant will be updated and set it into the database, and after that the student can view their updated leave balance in their history.
This is the stipend management class diagram. Here the course coordinator and teaching assistant are the entity classes. Stipend over here is in boundary class, and this is the controller class. Finance department is an external entity. It starts with course coordinator requesting the stipend controller for the balance leaves. According to the balance leaves, the stipend controller will calculate the stipend of the TA, which will be then forwarded to the course coordinator. After the course coordinator approves it, it will send the stipend detail to the financial department via the boundary. The finance department, through the payment method, will forward the payment to the stipend controller, and in the end the teaching assistant will receive the payment of the stipend.
This is the main class diagram for our system. It shows how the main class is going to interact with each other so that the system can work efficiently. System begins with the login module. User enter his credentials. According to that login method of a user, pass those details to login controller and it will verify the detail. If credentials are not correct, then it will show a failure message. Otherwise, it will open a new window according to the type of user. There are 4 types of user in this system. First, student module. There is 3 methods in student module. If student wants to apply for the leave, then by using apply leave method, he can apply for the leave. The constraints are set to the apply leave. If that are satisfied, then leave will be sent to course coordinator by using send leave method. There is another method is view detail. If student want to view his past history, then by using a view detail, he can view his past history. This is the teaching assistant module. TA is a special form of a student. It will inherit all the methods of a student. In addition to those operations, it will also have his own methods, because some of the operation can be performed only by the TA. This operation include apply leave, in which he can apply for the leave, and another method is send leave, that will submit his leave to leave application. Leave application module. We have 4 methods for this module. According to the leave request that student has sent, the first method will forward that request to course coordinator. We have four parameters for this method. First is student ID, from date, to date, and reason. The second is same as the first method, but difference is here the request of TA will be forwarded to course coordinator. The third method is send TA leave response. Whatever the response is generated by course coordinator will send to student or TA according to the method, whether is a send TA leave response or send student leave response. There is total 3 parameters in this method. The first is status. Status will be either granted or rejected. The another is remark. Course coordinator can add a comment in this parameter. And third is student ID or TA ID. This is course coordinator module. The first 2 methods, view TA request and view student request. In this method, course coordinator can view all the leave application that is sent by student and teaching assistant. The response of that request will be sent to student and teaching assistant by using leave response. These 2 methods are overloaded method, and the response will be sent to leave application. Another 2 method is view student details and view TA details. By using this method, course coordinator can view all the past history of a particular student who have undertaken his course, and same will be applied for the TA as well. Stipend will be given to TA at the end of the month. For that purpose, course coordinator will request to get attendance of a TA. By using get attendance method, request will be sent to stipend module. In stipend module, get balance leave method will get attendance of a TA from database. According to that attendance, the stipend will be calculated, and on basis of that calculated stipend, the payment will be sent to student. In the admin module, our admin represent the college admin, not the system admin. Admin will be the one who is responsible for all the data handling. There are 4 methods in this module. First 2 method is overloaded method. According to the student ID or TA ID, admin will modify the report, and updation will be saved into database using set balance method of update module. Admin have right to view past history of a student as well as TA. So, by using view detail method, admin can view their record according to the ID that is given to method by parameter.
In our system, there are 10 constraints, and they are the following. In the login class, the constraint is that the user ID should be less than size 10. In the view records class, we have imposed two constraints. They both work on the student class. That is, the student ID should be less than 10 characters and the name of the student should only contain 51 characters. This is the leave process class. On this, we have imposed 6 constraints. The first constraint is on the student class. Over here, the constraint is that the student should apply for the leave before 2 days he wants that. The same constraint is also applied on the teaching assistant class. That is, he should apply for leave before 2 days. For the leave application class, we have imposed 2 constraints. That is, the reason should be less than 75 characters and the date difference, there is a number of days for which a student wants the leave, should be greater than 0. For the leave controller, the sole constraint is that it should return the balanced leaves. For course coordinator, the constraint is that the remark, which is the response of the course coordinator, should be less than 75 characters. One more constraint on leave controller is that if the course coordinator approves for the leave, then the student's balanced leave should be deducted. This is the data management class. In this, there are 2 constraints. Number 1, on the admin class, that is, it should return balanced leave. For the update controller, the constraint is that it should update the leave, that is, from the balanced leave, it should deduct the number of days a student has applied for leave and it should deduct it and return the final balanced leave. This is the stipend management class. In this, there are 2 constraints. That is, if balanced leaves are greater than 2, then and only then the course coordinator could approve it. And the second is for the stipend controller, it will return the stipend, that is work days, into amount.
This is login state diagram. Diagram start with login state. When user enter his details, system will enter into the login state. In login state, user's details will be verified. If details are valid, system will be entered into the valid state. Otherwise, it will be entered into the invalid state. In valid state, user will be redirected to successful page where user can see the detail or page according to his role. In invalid state, he got one error message, that is, user ID or password is incorrect and system process is terminated. This is state diagram for leave. First of all, system is in either state. Whenever student or TA press the apply button, system will be entered into the leave request state. Leave request state have 2 substates. If student or TA have sufficient leave balance, then system will be entered into the apply leave state. In apply leave state, they can apply for leave by filling leave application and submit to their course coordinator. If student or TA leave balance is 0, then system will be entered into the alert state and TA or student got alert from the system and system process is terminated. After the apply leave state of the leave request state, system enter into the leave response state, in which course coordinator responds to the leave application of TA or student based on the leave reason that they specify in leave application, and he can approve or reject their leave, and system process is terminated with the response of course coordinator. This is state diagram for data. Here only one state in the diagram, that is update. System will be entered into the update whenever admin is request for the update data. In update state, updation of the data is done by admin. After the updation of the data, system process is end with the response of the updated data. This is view state diagram. It have only one state, that is view state. System will enter into the view state whenever it got request of the view data from the user. View state display the data of the user according to their role, and after the displaying of data, system process will be terminated. This is stipend state diagram. Process start with the request of get attendance and system will enter into the attendance state. In attendance state, TS leave balance take from the database and those details forwarded to the approved stipend state, and system will enter into the approved stipend state. In approved stipend state, stipend of the TA calculate on the base of leave balance, and stipend approved by the course coordinator. Stipend detail will forwarded to the financial department and system will enter into the payment state. In payment state, stipend is paid by financial department and TA will receive the payment, and with the payment, system process is terminated.
This is a package diagram. This is a view package. It contains the class view detail. The second subsystem is login. It has two classes, which is login and the user class. The third subsystem or package is admin. It only has one class, that is admin. The fourth subsystem is leave management. It has got two classes, course coordinator and leave application. The fifth subsystem is user. It has got student and teaching assistant as part of its classes. The next subsystem is stipend management. It has got stipend class in it, and data management package has got update class in it.
This is the object design diagram in which we have started our diagram with the flow of login. The user first logged into the system, and then after he will get the view details of his according to his role. First user is student. Student can view his details as well as he can perform the action like sending leave application for the leave. If he is eligible, as we have discussed earlier, he will get a leave application form in front of him. Now he can request for leave to the course coordinator. That leave request will send by the leave controller to the course coordinator, and course coordinator respond to that leave application. Now the second user is teaching assistant. Teaching assistant also can view his detail, can send leave application to the course coordinator, and the same thing will be done in the case of teaching assistant as well. Now teaching assistant can request for stipend. That request will go to the course coordinator side, and course coordinator approve that request, and after that approval, finance department will send the stipend to the teaching assistant. Now the fourth role is of admin. In case of system failure or a student's leave request has been stopped midway, then admin would be the one responsible for handling it. After the system's resume working, admin would manually do the needful.
We have identified two patterns in our project. The first is singleton and second one is MVC, singleton pattern. In our login module, there are three pages: login.jsp, logincontroller.jsp, and authenticator.jsp. Login.jsp. A login form would be displayed to user, and in that user will enter his user ID and password. In login controller.java, An object of authenticator class would be created. That object would be used to call the verify method of authenticator class. The authenticator class will reply to the login controller class, and according to that reply, further action should be taken. In this module, only one object is created of the authenticator class. The same object is the responsible for the handling whole login process, hence this has singleton design pattern. Second pattern is MVC pattern. Model represents an object. It can also have logic to update controller if its data changes. A model part is the leave record.java. In that, if all constraints are satisfied, then details would be updated in the database. View represents the visualization of the data that model contains. In our project, view is handled by student.jsp. It will receive all the details entered by student. Controller acts on both model and view. It controls the data flow into model object and updates the data view whenever data changes. It keeps view and model separate. Controller is the apply controller. The view section will forward the data to controller. The controller would check for the balance leave. If there are enough leave, then data will be forwarded to leave record.
For any queries, kindly contact us. Thank you.